The Indian Removal Act of 1830 was a controversial legislation passed by the United States government during the presidency of Andrew Jackson. This act authorized the forced relocation of Native American tribes living in the southeastern states to the designated Indian Territory west of the Mississippi River. The implementation of the Indian Removal Act resulted in the displacement and suffering of thousands of Native Americans, making it one of the darkest chapters of American history. The motives behind the Indian Removal Act were twofold. First, the growing desire for land by white settlers led to increased pressure on the government to remove Native Americans from productive territories. The discovery of gold in Georgia in particular intensified conflicts between Native Americans and settlers, ultimately leading to the forced removal of tribes such as the Cherokee Nation from their ancestral homelands. Second, a prevailing belief among many white Americans at the time was that Native Americans were savages that needed to be civilized. This misguided notion fueled the idea that relocating Native American tribes to designated Indian Territory would assimilate them into white society and save them from their perceived barbaric ways. Such ethnocentric views prevailed despite the rich cultural traditions and complex societal structures of the Native American tribes. One of the most notorious episodes resulting from the Indian Removal Act was the forced removal of the Cherokee Nation in what came to be known as the Trail of Tears. In 1838, the federal government ordered the removal of approximately 16,000 Cherokees from Georgia to Indian Territory, which is present-day Oklahoma. The Cherokee people were forcibly uprooted from their homes, with many forced to make the treacherous journey by foot, enduring harsh winter conditions, starvation, disease. Throughout the Trail of Tears, thousands of Cherokees lost their lives due to the appalling conditions and mistreatment they faced. It is estimated that approximately 4,000 Cherokees died during the journey, leaving behind a devastating loss of lives and a legacy of pain for the Native American community. This forced relocation was a blatant violation of human rights and a tragic display of cruelty. The Creek, Chickasaw, Seminole, and Choctaw tribes were also forcibly removed from their ancestral lands and compelled to march to Indian Territory. These tribes experienced similar hardships and losses during their forced relocations. Families were torn apart, lives were devastated, and the cultural fabric of these tribes was forever altered. The rampant disregard for the lives and well-being of Native Americans during the implementation of the Indian Removal Act is a harrowing testament to the cruelty embedded within these customs. The Indian Removal Act not only resulted in immense suffering for Native American tribes, but it also had far-reaching consequences for the cultural and social landscape of the United States. The forced removal of tribes disrupted generations of Native American traditions, severed ancestral ties to the land, and caused an irreparable loss of cultural heritage. Furthermore, the act contributed to the perpetuation of racism and discrimination against Native Americans, paving the way for further marginalization and injustices in the future. In recent years, efforts have been made to acknowledge the atrocities committed during the implementation of the Indian Removal Act. Tribes have fought for recognition, reparations, and the preservation of their cultural identities. While these actions represent steps towards healing and justice, the scars of this cruel chapter in history continue to linger, reminding us of the importance of empathy, understanding, and the necessity to confront the darker aspects of our past.